Hi, I'm Aida Dean, and I'm a sophomore at Millbrook High School.
Can you tell us about your background? Like, where are your parents from?
My parents are both from Sierra Leone in Africa, and it's the small country on the western border.
Okay. What is culture to you?
Culture is, in my opinion, culture is like it's not like a group of, not necessarily a group of people, but more like an idea. Like, let's say like I don't know. It's like an idea, like a whole bunch of like themes and ideas put together as one that a group of people portray. It's like for example, like let's say like American culture. Like American culture stereotypically is like I don't know, like hamburgers and cheeseburgers and football. Like that's what people would think of as Americans to do. And then
Do you know what culture appropriation is?
Culture appropriation is when someone or a group of people try to portray another group of people, and it can sometimes be insulting to other people.
Okay. Are you aware of the reference, the America is a melting pot?
Yes.
Okay.
But in my opinion, I don't think that America is a melting pot as much as it is like a tossed salad, because even though we're all together as one in this country and we've all like fought for our rights and everything, it just doesn't seem like in today's day and age that we're all still one, like we're all still melting and accepting each other for what we are. We're more like individual people living together as more as like a whole people, because it's just not everyone is like accepting other people for who they are, and there's so many ideas and beliefs and so many people, and I just feel like America is just, we're not whole, and I don't think we're ever going to be whole because of all the beliefs and all the ideas that everyone has.
Not knowing your background, how do you think people typically stereotype you?
Well, I'm not just speak on like my behalf. I'm gonna speak on like the whole like African American community. I just feel like people stereotype us as a whole as like, I don't know, like we don't try hard enough, and we don't try hard enough. We don't have as much ambition or as much drive as, I don't know, as like Caucasians would, I guess. But the thing is that like that's completely wrong.
Well, how does it make you feel that people have that stereotype?
I like a little bit like insulted. But
who do you think typically listens to country music?
Well,
This could be from race, gender, age.
I don't know. I feel so. I went to this concert this summer with. Okay, so I went to this concert this summer with one of my really good friends, and it was like this. It was like this weird oldies country music concert, and like what I observed there was a lot of like older people, older like females, and mostly females, and they were all like Caucasian, and most of them, there's only like a small minority of them were either like Hispanic or African American or like of any other race. So I just feel, in my opinion, like even though it's stereotypically everyone thinks that, oh, because you're white you listen to country music. So from what I've seen, I think it's more typically, I don't know, older, more Caucasian people, but I may be wrong.
Who do you think typically listens to rap?
Oh, a lot of people listen to rap.
Okay.
Personally, a lot of people, no gender, no age, no race, everyone, they listen to rap. Everyone can like relate to rap, so I think.
Okay. So you don't think music is based on a race or gender?
No, I think it's based on like
whoever likes
it, whoever can relate to it the most, I don't think like, oh, because you're white, you should be listening to country music. I don't think so.
Hello, my name is Sierra Rasmussen.
Okay. How do you think people typically stereotype you?
I think that when people see me, they see a black girl. So It just depends on that person's mindset, whether that's a positive or negative thing.
Who typically listens to country music, rap, classical?
Well, I think that it would be ignorant to assume what one listens to based on their appearance, but generally speaking, I think that people assume that white people listen to country music and that black people listen to rap music, but we know that that people of all different backgrounds listen to country as well as rap. So
should culture be defined as anything by race, gender, economic success, age?
no, culture is a very complex thing, and it you cannot assume one's culture based on their physical appearance. So it's very complicated. It depends on one's where they're located on the map. So depends on geography. It depends on, some parts can depend on their socioeconomic status. Some parts can depend on their ethnicity. So many things play a role in one's culture. So I just think you have to think about those things. And again, you shouldn't make assumptions based on one's physical appearance. You know, you shouldn't make assumptions about one's culture based on one's physical appearance.
Have you ever been guilty of cultural appropriation?
I think as an adult, no. I think that now that I'm older and more knowledgeable about different cultures, I make an effort to be respectful. And if I were to participate in another person's culture, for example, when I travel to Thailand, I make an effort to learn about the culture, be respectful, and make sure that it's clear that I'm participating in their culture and not stealing it or trying on their culture as a costume because it's cool or I think it looks cute, but just understanding the importance of one's history and appreciating it instead of trying it on or doing it because I think it's cool, but just being very respectful of another person's heritage.
What is culture to you?
Culture to me is my music and food.
What do you think, or do you have anything interesting about your culture?
I believe our food is something unique and interesting about our culture.
Do you know a lot about your culture?
Yes, I do know a lot about my culture.
Why do you think culture is important?
I think culture is important because you get to know about your history. Yeah.
What is the what is the most important thing your culture has given to the world?
Our food, because it is very good. And our music too.
Okay. Has it changed?
I believe it has changed because America has not made it authentic like it should be.
What other what customs do you practice?
We celebrate the Day of the Dead.
Cultures do you admire?
I admire Black culture mostly.
Hello, my name is Jamil Madiba. I'm a sophomore here at Millbrook High School, and my parents are Congolese. And to be specific, we're speaking to the Democratic Republic of Congo. I think that just the people itself is just what makes the culture. Like, it's not to be specific about sports, anything really. The things that all the citizens do, like benefits, everything.
Do you know a lot about your culture?
Yeah, I actually do.
Or do you have anything interesting about your culture?
My culture is very prideful. Us Congolese people, we love everything. The Democratic Republic of Congo is one of the richest countries in Africa, and it's legit the heart of Africa. It's like right there.
Okay. Why do you think culture is important?
Because it's really important to know where you come from, because that's your blood. Like, that's where you're from. That's like, shut that off.
What is the best thing that your culture has given to the world?
Like I said, specifically in the Democratic Republic of Congo, my country is rich in like diamonds, coals, and all that stuff, and we've given so much, like to like the Americans today, and so that contributes a lot because it helps benefit, you know, things that we have now.
What about the food or like the clothing, possibly? Has it changed? But like since you've given it to America, has it changed? Have you seen anything change?
Yeah, because at first people were clowning on what Africans wear, and they're out here making fake copies of their own clothing, which is really funny.
Is there any customs that you practice?
I reached an age where I'm able to go like festivals and dances and stuff, and I have waist beads, and like I don't know like to be like specific what it does to every like what's the meaning to every culture when a girl wears waist beads, but I just know that where I was taught that it like matures you.
Okay. Have you ever been guilty of cultural appropriation?
No.
How do you think people typically stereotype you? Not knowing your background, they just look at you.
Usually I'll say, oh, I'm African. They'll be like, you're not African. Yeah, I'm African. Like, you're too white to be African. I get that a lot.
So how does that make you feel?
There are white people in Africa, so what color are you supposed to be from somewhere? That's my question.
Do you think it's wrong for people to assume another group's culture?
Yeah, because that's crazy. Here, I know that in America, they show like really bad parts of Africa, and like they don't ever show the city, anything. They just show the poor parts, which makes people assume they're from there. It's not as, that's why.
Okay, thank